Yes, people, welcome to LFC Red Forever channel. Well, we had a preview show, but we had to, reschedule that for tomorrow afternoon around 12 o'clock, I hope. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, FSG deciding to stay at Liverpool. The club's no longer for sale. So we're going to be doing a lot of talking about that today. So let me bring in my partner in crime, which is Ryan for the Reds. What's going on, Ryan, bro?
All right, Foz. I'm still in the bedroom. I'm not back in the office till tomorrow, guys. Sorry, but no, it's good to be back. I'm a little bit under the weather. I got a little bit of a cold, but you got to talk about obviously what happened today, haven't we? So I'm here. I'm fit. I'm firing. I'm ready.
No, yes, and we've got Harley. Everybody knows Harley. He's a regular on the channel as well.
How are we?
You're all good, bro?
Yeah. All good, yeah. All good. Mad news come out today, hasn't it? Which, to be honest, there's one reason I'm a little bit gutted about it is that I wanted to talk about Real Madrid.
Yes.
We have to hold off on that.
Yeah, hold off on that. No worry, bro. And we've got a new member of the team, which is Max from all the way down to USA. What's going on, Max, man? You all right, mate?
Oh,
yes, West side. So, guys, we're going to be obviously talking about Liverpool, the FSG staying. The club is no longer for sale, from what I've heard. They just want investors coming in instead of like the full sale. And this is coming from John W. Henry, the owner of the club. So what do you think, Ryan? What do you think of the news today, mate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've just been on Liverpool transfer rooms spaces, I gave my opinion in depth over there, kind of thing. But I'm more than happy to do it again. I don't know if happy is the right word, but I'm optimistic. That's the word. I'm optimistic about the news. Because of a couple of reasons. I think first of all, before we do obviously we do go on, and I mentioned this in the spaces, and I think it's appropriate to mention it here. Before the FSG out versus FSG in, and the abuse that we know is going to come with it again towards people over these next couple of hours and days, we need to put things into perspective. And remember, there's been another earthquake in Turkey.
Yes,
Nicola Bulley, obviously in the UK, her body has been found in the river. You've just got to keep things in perspective when we start talking about these things over the next couple of days, guys. And when you go to abuse someone, or when you go to give someone a negative reaction because you don't agree with their opinion, just think, just keep things in perspective. But as regarding the FSG news, like I said, I'm optimistic because ultimately our model. Previous to this season, our model was we were the model club that just needed a little bit more ambition and a little bit more money. We were the club that everybody aspired to be. We were always the smartest people in the room. We always had the best people in the best jobs in the best areas. Yeah. And we were so elite at what we did. It became a running joke that Michael Edwards would have your pants down and things like that. And our recruitment and our ability to challenge with those with a low net spend, that's not because of necessarily tight owners. That is because we didn't have to spend that much money to reach the top because we were so perfect everywhere else.
Yeah.
But as that strategy has slightly changed and things have slightly moved on, and your sell to buy has had to shift a little bit, we need a little bit more ambition and we needed a little bit more investment. And as good businessmen do, they've held their hands up. They're now going out and seeking that. They're seeking an investor to come in with money and take over the sporting operations of Liverpool to try and get us back to the top. So for me, it's optimistic. It's optimism that I have. I am optimistic about today's news.
What about you, Max? What do you think of it, mate? FSG staying? They're no longer selling.
Thanks. There's a little voice in the back of my head that's whispering, I told you so, and I knew it, because they bought us as an investment, and they're just greedy, and they just want to milk out every dime. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the club. They don't care about the sport. All they care about is money. This isn't all of those things that I mentioned, the club, the sport. It's nothing to them. It's not. They don't see it like that. They see it as accounts available, checking accounts, and trying to raise that money up, raise that dollar up until as high as they can.
To me, Max, I agree with you 100%, because if an owner cared, they won't come out a day before a game, like Real Madrid, and say things like that. This is the third time they did that, guys. Don't forget. Project Big Picture before the Everton game, the Super League before the Leeds game. Now they did the same thing before the Real Madrid game. So they put the fans in a situation where we're not even happy. You know what I mean? And we're all like fighting each other all over social media and things like that. If owners care about the club, they wouldn't do things like that. What do you think, H? What do you think on it? What's your point of view? Sorry.
I am very, and I kind of always have been when it comes to FSG. I'm quite on the fence about it. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably not the opinion that will bring in like the most viewership. Do you know what I mean? It's not in the world of content creation and in the world of numbers on social media. You kind of have to be with one extreme or the other. I'm not necessarily in that situation. However, I, as someone who tends to try and see the positive side of things, to be honest, lads, like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I'm fairly like content with this, to be honest, because the only problem with how FSG run Liverpool is that there isn't enough investment. You could easily argue for things like transfers, but with investors coming in, and it's an if, but it seems to be they've come out and they've said, so hopefully we get something on that front. If someone comes in and covers that side of it, and then maybe from there looks to take a majority or full takeover of the club, we could be in a really good situation. I've said from the start, I would happily keep everything about FSG, but just they put a bit more of money in. And whether that money comes from John Henry or it comes from anyone, I'm not really asked, as long as Liverpool are good at footy again, do you know what I mean? And we're getting back on track, but that's how I feel about it. Like, for me, all this stuff about owners, it's just not worth like losing your head over.
H, where do you see it? Where's your standpoint on the sense of the timing? Because obviously it's not a statement; it's a couple of questions he's been answered. Yeah. So he's been asked and he's answered. Because for me, I personally, I think it's as good a timing as you can get, because you got to remember, prior to not even prior, but prior to his quotes coming out today, all we've been asking for weeks is clarity. Yeah. You know, all we wanted is clarity.
And I was saying that certain people demand clarity, and the same we're doing. We're putting FSG
and then they get it and they don't like it.
For clarity. They get clarity and then they don't like their answer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, but like I said, Ryan, to me, it's the timing of it. Like, if there was no important game, and you know, like you could say this any time during the season, but why is it always before an important game? Is that going to motivate the players to play better? I don't understand why they do that. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, Ryan.
I know why.
Go on, Anton. Go on, bro.
You know what? They didn't look. Think about it. Mike Ashley. I'm gonna say these words. Mike Ashley, and that's all I wanted to say, really. And what Mike Ashley did with Newcastle, just to put them up, just to get people to see what fishes bite, and and then when someone was going to buy it, and it's shit, we couldn't, no, we don't want to meet them, and sometimes not even meeting them. You know what I'm saying? Not even an answer. FSG is just, it's money orientated. Don't get me wrong. All owners are, but they can tell these guys from the beginning. It's like you have to buy, you have to sell to buy, and then you get people saying Klopp out when I'm thinking, guys, it's not him. He's just the front cover guy. Exactly. He's the front cover. He's the guy that takes all the hit. He's one of them people, you know, someone who loves their job and they don't want to say anything to their manager, just carry on doing what they're doing. And that's what Klopp is. He's really humble, you know what I'm saying? Another manager would say, you know what? No. I'm not having this sell to buy business. It can't work on a long run. You can see it doesn't work on a long run. Look at our team. Our team is suffering now because of that. For me, he's done a Mike Ashley. That's what FSG are doing.
Listen, what disappoints me more than anything is like they decided to put the club up for sale, and then all of a sudden they change their mind. When you're already invested in things like that, don't go back on your word. You know what I mean? That's what I'm angry about. I've defended them. Anton, remember me? I defended them in the past. How can I defend things like this? I mean, when I'm already sold on them leaving.
To be honest, we should have seen it when with the Arsenal. I know Arsenal are coming through now, but we should have seen this from the Glazers with the Man United. Any American owners, they're not gonna come on. They don't love the game. They don't love the game. They know the money's big here because it's the most televised in the world. It's the most entertaining.
To be fair, though, I would make the argument that no virtually no football owners actually in it for the love of the game. If you look at
David Fowles.
Well, yeah, that's a very rare exception, Alice, to be fair. But like generally, you look at it and you're thinking like, I can point to you every big team in the world and tell you why their owners are in it. The Glazers are there because they want to make money at any cost, but in a different way. So FSG actually want to sustain Liverpool as a sustainer model, whereas United, it's about taking money out. Why do City's owners own Man City? Sports washing, essentially, and that's. People, I know certain people might accuse me of being racist or xenophobic for that, but we all know it's true. We all know that Man City haven't just bought that club. Like, they haven't bought that out of the love of their heart. They've done it for political reasons. You can say the same about PSG.
But you can argue the fact that in the Middle East, people love football, though, my friend.
Yeah,
people love
it's
football.
not it's not like America.
Yeah, I hear that.
Don't love football. They don't love football. So even though them Mansard guys don't love Man City, I'm sure they love football, played football when they was kids. So it brings them something. You know what I'm saying?
Sheikh Mansour wasn't sat there watching like Nigel Pearson, was he? Do you know what I mean? Was Nigel Pearson who managed him? No, Stuart Pearce.
Stuart Pearce.
He wasn't watching them. Of course not. He probably watched Man United, and they probably wanted Man United, but Man United wasn't saying. So they thought, you know, let's make our own little dream. We can do the team next door. I'm sure they play football themselves. With Americans, you know, these guys, they've never kicked a ball. They've never kicked a ball. They've never looked over. They saw the money model, and that's it. 150%.
You could take it from like Max. Max like is an American. Like, he knows how these people work.
I'm sorry, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, Max. Yeah. You could say you're like, how it works over there. And
no pun intended.
You could talk about it, Max. You know what I mean, there's no problem with us, man. Like, you could say how you feel like about Americans.
You know what I'm saying?
We're old, man. We're very old. Go on, Max. Go on.
Well, no. I mean, the owners, no, they don't know. They don't care about football. They don't know. They don't play. But I mean, there's a good amount of American ballers and people that they love the Premier League because they know it's the best league in the world, and that's the fans, and it's like you guys said, the owners don't get into it because they care about football, you know, they don't. That's true. That's facts.
But the thing is, like, what people need to understand about the Liverpool Football Club, guys, like, we're an emotional club. You know what I mean? We want everything to be like tight as one. That's what we're all about. That's how, Anton, like, me and Anton know each other since we was kids. I mean, we're in our 40s now, so we grew up together, and we love Liverpool since we was kids. You know what I mean? And when we was growing up, we had Kenny Dalglish as a manager, and the club felt as one. You know what I mean? And everybody was together. I don't see us with these owners ever being together. If you know what I mean, guys. I'm not slating what they've done. They've done a great job. They got us the titles.
I'm not saying what they want.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
they've done a brilliant thing. Yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go. You know what I mean?
How can you still go with the same model?
Yeah.
The same model, sell to buy.
Well, they're not going.
How in this day and age right now? How can you go on like that? And they're hoping that Liverpool made the Champions League, because if they don't,
we're hoping. We're not like guaranteed it anymore like we used to.
Listen, we're saying it for our pride, and we love the club. These guys, this FSG, if Liverpool don't make it to the Champions League, they're going to lose a lot of money.
Of course, mate.
So I don't understand.
Guys, take it from two guys that sat through like the worst time of Liverpool in the 90s.
The storms, bro. Tell them about the storms.
I will say, to be fair, there's likely clauses in the contracts that mean players get bonuses if they finish up. But that's not a fact. By the way, don't take that as gospel, but that's possibly likely. So in that sense, maybe a lot of the Champions League money that we would receive would actually be paying for them bonuses, and things might balance themselves. That's only speculation, but I know that that's how it's worked at other clubs. So I don't know, but like,
listen, we're coming from a good place, Harley. Like, you guys know me now. I don't come from a bad place. I just don't think they're good enough for us, man. I'm sorry, guys. Like, the way they do the thing that like makes me angry. Like, you bring out a statement before the World Cup. You let the transfer window, when your manager needs midfielders and needs players the most, you avoid that, and then you let that transfer window close, and then you announce this right after that. Like, it's just a carbon copy of everything they've been doing at Liverpool since they've been here.
Ashley.
There you go. It's just a horrible way of going things. Like, why don't you have emotions into this club like we do? We can't keep calling us the best fans in the world and then we get treated like this every single time. No fans should be treated the way we be treated. I don't know what you think, Ryan, but I don't think they're treating us the way we deserve. That's how I see it, brother.
Well, sorry,
No.
we're talking.
well,
I'm going to bring up the point
go
that
on,
if you're
H.
looking at fan treatment, what isn't spoken about enough is the things like them trying to boost up the ticket prices and trying to trademark Liverpool and things like that. Like things like that. Do you know what I mean? That does back up your point more than probably anything you can do in terms of on-field.
Because it's this for them, H. It's this for them.
And that's how it is. That's how it is with every billionaire. There's no such thing as a good billionaire.
No, there ain't.
But in modern footy, you probably need
But
there's 21 owners that are better than us. 150%. We got
21 where 21 in
Forest.
At least that guy's spending, innit?
Come on, man.
At least he's spending money on his team. That guy,
you can tell. You can see the model is not for the model is just to make the money. The
To be
fans
fair
are there,
though,
and the season tickets are there. That's all they want.
Yeah, but Ryan.
their wage bill isn't their ours, but I do see where you're coming from in terms of like how much they've actually invested. But like my thing is, I understand where you're coming from by saying FSG on their own cannot take us any further. I've said that as much as anyone.
Yeah, I know you did.
But if these new investors come in, which does look likely, then I feel as though we can like.
I hope for their sake someone comes in, bro.
They still want to own the club, don't they?
All we can do is speculate, but.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think I see more positives than negatives. We've got a fantastic squad, best manager going. We've got no real debt. We've got no real infrastructure problems. We just need investment in the playing squad.
Sorry, did you say that we got a fantastic squad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll die on
No, but it's up. Listen, it's his opinion at the end of the day. But we have a squad there, but it's not strength and depth. If you know what I mean, guys. That's what we do. But go on, Ryan, bro. Like you have your say, bro.
That's just interesting listening to different people's point of views. I think one thing that we struggle to come to terms with, and to be fair, it's to the two older gentlemen in the in the chat. I know it can be more difficult because it's the same for my dad.
Yeah.
Football now is 10% what happens on the pitch and 90% what happens off it. The thing that happens on the football pitch is very, very, very minute in the grand scheme of things nowadays, because football is an entirely different world. The money that the operations on the pitch bring in is so minute. To win the Champions League, so if you win the Champions League, you get £75 million, alone, obviously just in prize money.
Yeah,
we talk about that. That's astronomical. That's unbelievable amounts of money. Yeah. Anfield alone, just from the kiosks. So take away media rights, take away advertisements, things like that. Liverpool alone, Anfield alone, in the kiosks makes nearly £220 million a season. That's nearly triple what you get for winning a football tournament, the biggest in the world, on the pitch. Yeah. That's just selling food and drink. So the avenues of revenue have changed in football drastically, and this is where my argument is. I believe FSG are the most successful owners and have been the most important owners we've had in the Premier League era. Because I'm now seeing Liverpool as an institution sat in the top 3 most successful businesses in world football. Something that I'd never even dream of, us having the commercial power and the financial power and the financial sustainability that Manchester United have. We for years used to be so jealous of what Manchester United were able to do during the Premier League era, because of how they literally saw an opportunity within TV rights, commercial things. They took it, they run it with it, they did it. We've done the exact same thing. We've done it late, but they've done it, and they've got us to that top table. Thank you so much. We can't deny, as a modern football fan, as much as we don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to talk about it, but we have to look at it. The business side of our football club is the most important side, because what that allows us to do is stick around. We won't be a Bury, we won't be an Oldham, we won't be a potential Rochdale where your club goes into liquidation because of so many bad moves. Nottingham Forest, we mentioned before. If Nottingham Forest go down, their wage bill, their parachute payments alone might just cover the transfer fees and the wage bills that they've created.
I think you could probably look at Everton in that same boat as well.
Exactly, Everton the exact same. Those two clubs could imagine being a Portsmouth. Imagine us being the next Portsmouth and being sat in the dregs of League One, League Two.
The thing is, though, mate, a lot of people don't realise that we were probably a lot closer to that than people actually think. If you look at what happened in
Hicks and Gillette would have took us there. We all know that. We all know Hicks and Gillette would have took us there. So I would agree that on the transfer side, FSG have let us down. But on the other sides, the most important sides, unfortunately, it's hard for us to say as fans, but the most important sides, they've been a great success for us. Ultimately, a couple of years ago, like I said before, we were the model club. We had Ian Graham, literally the pinnacle of sport data. He was ours. We had Michael Edwards, who sold Danny Ward for 15 million and Ryan Brewster for 25 mil. You know, we had the pinnacle of sporting directors, and that isn't via luck. That isn't via with them just walking in off the streets handing their CV in. That's through FSG being good owners and employing the right people to identify the right people below them to get our club in such a strong position that we were literally the model club. I've been supporting Liverpool since I was born, so that's only 26 years. And I started to really follow the things, you know, off the pitch and stuff like that when I was a teenager. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we would create the revenue that we have, or be sustainable to the points of Manchester United and be that kind of powerhouse. And we're there. We are there. What we need right now is a little bit of more sporting ambition and a little bit more investment within our football team.
But FSG,
no, they've not got that. And
this is where we all disagreeing on.
This is where we are now.
We agree with everything you're saying, but it's the next level. That's what I want to know.
But look what they're doing though. They're looking for an investment of 49% into our club, right? So what they're looking for is someone to come in and take it's literally, you're talking 2% off being the majority shareholder. They're looking for somebody to come in, take over the operations of the sport, so the sporting operations, be a 49% shareholder of the club. What that means then is this is into the club, by the way. This isn't Redbird into FSG. This is like LeBron. This is like LeBron's 2%. This is 49% into Liverpool Football Club, right? Yeah. They take 49%. What they do then is they become a long-term serving strategic partner to Liverpool Football Club. But more importantly, they become a long-term strategic partner of FSG, who are huge in global sport, right? So what that allows FSG to do then is go, right, whilst I'm setting up my MBA venture over these next 2 to 3 years, I've got an investor, a long-term investor that's going to stick with me, who is currently running the sporting operations and investing it whilst we take care of the business, right? And then what happens is when they're ready to move on with their time at Liverpool, as he said today, by the way, he said we won't be in Liverpool forever. When he's then ready to move on and move off Liverpool and move on to his MBA, that long-term strategic partner that they've took their time to appoint then goes and gets our majority shareholder, and then becomes our new runners, our new owners, which they'd effectively be doing anyway. They're just not having the majority share.
But how factual is that though, Ryan? Is it going to happen or not? You know, because they keep changing their mind on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying?
What's with the changing the minds? What's with the changing the minds?
See, no, but this.
One second, guys. One second. Mahad says FSG, so let me just read a few of the comments. Hang on. The question has match predictions for tomorrow. We'll talk about the game tomorrow. No worries. But carry on, right? Go on.
One thing I will say about this change in their mind is what you have to remember is FSG never put out a single statement. They never put out a single statement before the World Cup that the club was up for sale. It was a David Ornstein article. It's the same way that the FSG have never put out a statement that they were looking for a full sale. It was people, and it was people on Twitter, and it was journalists on Twitter creating a hype and a situation where we all believed that there was a full sale. FSG ain't said niche.
Didn't Klopp come afterwards? Like, didn't Klopp come out and say something? He said that
just before the World Cup, he was happy investment coming in, and that.
He mentioned something like that. Now,
Klopp said, didn't he?
If that was fake,
he did say that.
I would have thought that he would have said, "No, that's fake news." I'm sure he would have said something like that.
So Klopp said before the World Cup, and this isn't necessarily the direct quote, but it's not far off, that
No.
that further sporting investment is needed, like, you know, obviously in the future to like coming. I think it was before the Man City game in the League Cup, just before we got back.
No, it was before the World Cup. Way before. I think it was the Southampton game after the Southampton.
Before Southampton. Because we were on about, he was speaking the positive, weren't he? And he had this like positive mantra and stuff, and he spoke about that.
That's around the time it came out. This
because he got asked, didn't he, Ben, about that old quote that he said about, "I'll never sign £100 million player," and he was saying that the modern day, you know, you need further investment. Clubs need to spend more money. And then he also mentioned about that in a couple of years, when the new Champions League format comes and the new Club World Cup format comes, you're going to need larger squads, so therefore you're going to need more investment. But as far as we're going, saying that FSG have changed the goalposts, or FSG have changed their minds, or FSG have moved things on, again, I'm not trying to defend them, but technically they're not, because they didn't say that. You know, these are actually the first quotes we've had from John W. Henry since he did his apology video.
The thing is, mate, people don't realise this because they get so lost in narratives. But the thing is, at the end of the day, 80% of not only what they talk about on like Twitter and that and all that, but also probably about 80% of what we're talking about now. It's all if, buts, and maybes. It's all hypotheticals, and a lot of it involves at least a degree of guesswork. I feel like I'm in an English GCSE class. We can analyse and. You're
arguing with the wrong people, Harley. You're arguing with the wrong people, bro. That's what it is. Chelsea Perspective says, "Big up, people." Yeah, big up Chelsea Perspective, man. Thank you very much.
I think as well, though, Foz, when you said like, will that happen? How factual is that they're looking for a large investment? Again, that 49.51 has just been what's been said around, isn't it, on Twitter, rumors and stuff. However, that would make sense as to why you'd bring the two big banks in to come and look for that investment for you, because if it's going to be substantial, it's probably going to be around £2 billion mark. So that explains why they've brought them in. Like, you won't bring them in for Redbird because it was 200 million, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah. However, £2 billion.
But it wasn't towards Liverpool. It was towards the FSG business. Yeah, I mean,
exactly. And to be fair, John said today that is them two coming in and the situation with the club is ongoing, alluding to even once investment is made, it will still be ongoing. Like, they'll still continue to work for FSG and Liverpool to try and find a final sale figure. But obviously that final sale figure will change, because you'd imagine whoever comes in on the minority sharehold will then be phased into the majority shareholder, so they'll end up having to pay. Say, for example, they come in and they spend $2 billion for 49%. They spend the money we need. They improve us on a sporting aspect. Liverpool's stock continues to rise. They're probably then going to have to put down another $3.5-4 billion in a couple of years' time because our value will have increased. You know, so obviously when you're talking about those kinds of money and those kinds of amounts, you can understand why they've got the two big players from the banks involved.
But the thing is, like, what's upsetting me more than anything is where we at. You know what I mean? And they had the opportunities, Ryan, to move us from where we at, and they haven't done that. And this is like, what we're talking about right now is something that might not happen as well. Don't forget, guys, we're just guessing what's happening. But from what I've seen, each time we give them the opportunities, they keep failing. How much more can we take this? Like, how much more of this pain, Max, can we take this? Like, you know, in American sports, they do the same thing with the baseball team. They buy in the beginning, and then they leave that team as it is for another 5 years, and then they're not successful, and then they spend again. They keep doing things like that. But they brought that. Did they bring that to the English football, Max, or are we seeing it wrong in the wrong way?
I'm a little bit on the fence as well, because some of the guys, Ryan H brought up some really good points. Is that they brought a success to the club and I feel like we're on the cliff of a new big change in money and in ownership around the league. Just like when the Premier League was introduced, we struggled for 30 years. They got us our first title, and that's against a super Manchester City team that's arguably been cheating. They've been, you know, juiced up on steroids financially.
Arguably generous, mate. Arguably generous.
Carry Max.
That's massive. That's all due to, like Ryan was saying, bringing in the right people, bringing in the Mike Edwards, and from the top to the bottom of the club. And like he said, bringing in money just from the kiosks, whatever, the small difference of expanding the stadium, paying that off. These are things that actually go into effect. But the thing I did disagree with Ryan is that on the pitch, it matters. It matters massively.
100%.
I don't believe.
I think it's the most important place. I'm sorry. For me, that's the most important place. I'm sorry.
It's hard. I know, but it really isn't.
It's the neglect that's the issue, though.
Because it might seem the most important to us, but Manchester United are in our top 3 for revenue. They've not achieved Champions League football since 2015. It makes no difference.
And this season, if we don't qualify for Champions League, what does that leave us?
And you're right, and you know what?
That's a big loss. It's a big loss.
No, I know, but do you know what it'll do to us? Make absolutely no difference. It genuinely will not make any difference. Because we
can't attract the big players.
We can't.
We need big players.
But you can attract the big players, though.
Especially you can get players, but not the big players.
If Man United get this ownership, it's going to be difficult.
If Jude Bellingham comes in the summer, who else in a big player sense would you simply want?
It's a 50-50 if we're Champions League or not, if he comes or not.
No, but it really isn't, though, is it? But it really isn't. He's even personally commented on it that it makes
Ryan,
makes
no difference. Say he doesn't come. Where do you stand in that position? Like, what position?
It depends on the grounds, doesn't it? It depends on the grounds. If he doesn't come into Liverpool Football Club because FSG aren't willing to shrimp up the money, then we've got a serious issue. And like the lads were saying before, I think if you come into this summer and no investment is found and they fall short, there's no pulling the wool over people's eyes anymore. We'll all be 110% in on it, because ultimately,
honestly, I hope we can save this. I hope we can save this all, man, because we've been bummed twice. We've been bummed twice.
Do you want to talk about saving things? Do you want to talk about saving things? I think we're getting top 4.
Twice shy, man.
One, I think we're getting top 4 anyway.
I know for a fact we're getting ready to get bummed again. 100%.
100%, bro.
Yeah, listen,
100. I'm certain.
Let's say we don't. 2,
we're on our knees.
We're going to sign Bellingham anyway.
We're on our knees. We're on our knees in January. We're on our knees. And the guys were saying about getting a free transfer and getting some tour.
We are signing Bellingham in the summer. We could finish 10th and we'll still sign him. I'm telling you.
Listen,
you know what the saddest thing is? What's the
What about Tchouameni?
Yeah, we had the Tchouameni.
We were signing him. He see the model. He's like, fuck this.
You know what the saddest thing? Anton. Harley, 1 second. You know what the saddest thing is in all this, guys? It's the man at the top, Jurgen Klopp, is not getting what he deserves. That's what's angering me more than anything. We're defending these people, but what about him? Why aren't we defending that guy that deserves everything that he should be getting?
That's why he's getting touchy in the reporter's room. He's getting touchy. You can see he's biting.
He's
biting. You can see he's biting every time they're saying little things. He's biting. He's a guy who's been in there. He's been there for years since Klopp's been there. Asking questions. It's like a little relationship. This guy was flipping on him. You can see that there's something not right there. These guys say FSG, but boy, I'm sorry. For me, what they call it, the Florence Nightingale effect. That's what I'm seeing. Honestly, you've done good for me now.
Yeah.
You give me
breast
milk, and now
it's
we'll
hard
carry
watching
on.
them,
They need. Honestly, 150% need to go. I know what they've done for us now. What they've done
Thank
for
you.
us we're a model. But it's the new people need to come in and say, look, guys, we'll take it off you. You guys are not really into this. You're onto that money thing. We're into money thing, but we also like football. We also like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm also a fan.
Like I said, Anton, it's like I said, I've lost that connection with the club because of these owners, because they don't connect with us. They don't sit with us. They don't talk to us. They're always far away.
They come to random games.
They don't come to games. But this is what Liverpool's all about. We're supposed to be all as one. but it doesn't look like we're all as one anymore. Look at our fan base. Like, why are we so distant from each other when we're supposed to be all together as one? We're having to go at each other. That's unlike us. That's out of our character. You know what I mean?
FSG
But we're doing all this because of them. Because they Harley, they're only doing what's good for them. They're not doing what's good for you. They're not doing what's good for me or Ryan or Anton. Never. Listen, we worked in America, me and Anton. I mean, we know how people work in these countries. You know what I mean? Max knows what we're talking about. You know what I mean? I spent 3 years in America working for American people. It's all about investments. That's it. There's no heart. There's no feeling towards it. They don't care.
How much they buy for? 300 million.
300 million, bro. I was in court watching them.
Sell the club. You get pure billions from it. Just take it and go, man. I'm sorry, I cannot have them anymore.
Yeah, carry on. Go on, Harry.
They're not gonna give them money.
But yeah, like
MH says, preach on, bro. Yeah.
Someone here wants to say something. I don't know what it is, but
go on.
Please.
I'd just like to say, you're saying you want a fan to take over the club. That doesn't always end well. Derby County were owned by a fan. We were pushing for promotion, and now we're in League One. Being owned by a fan does not always go the way you think, because they get.
It's not a fan.
No, I'm not saying a fan.
I don't think it's not
a fan of football. A fan of
I think what he means is
somebody in touch with the game.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Mate. But I think what you're trying to say is you want somebody who's, whether they bang into the specific club or bang into even the specific sport, you want somebody who is going to give significantly in order to achieve for whatever their motivation might be.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Listen, 100%. Especially when it comes with the buy to sell. What the hell? I have to admit, Klopp's done so well on them terms, and people saying get him out.
But how long can that last, Anton?
How many top managers will take that right now?
Don't need to sort how many managers right now?
Listen, guys, listen. How many managers right now will take that ultimatum? You can come in, but you have to sell to buy. And look at the team now. You got a few players, few young players, but look at the midfield. Look at the defense. Look at Matip and things like that. And you think that model's a bit funny. I'm not really gonna go there. Come on, we're not right now. We're not looking at someone we want to go to. Come on, let's be real. Come on.
It's hard to watch, but everybody has their opinions at the end of the day. That's why we bring this platform. Like, we're gonna disagree, we're gonna agree, and that's how it is.
Please. That's
I think I've had enough of FSG at the moment, and I just want you want to say something, Harley, before we move on to the next subject, which is tomorrow's game.
Well, I just finish it off. As I say, I think as I say, I'm very much on the fence, if you want to call it that. I agree that on their own they can't take us any further. I'm with Ryan on the investment thing and having that smooth transition between what we
100%
what we have now to what we will have in the future. That transition, I'm absolutely fine. I'm happy with that, if anything. I personally, how I feel about it though is, everyone's been asking me today, how do you feel about this and that? My honest answer, mate, is I'm obviously, I care. I love the club. It's everything to me. But when it comes to FSG, I just find it hard to be too arsed one way or the other. But yeah, I feel as though personally for me, there's more, not more important things to worry about, but more into football terms. There's like, I feel like we're all kind of a bit too invested in all this. I don't know, we have to be, but there's not a lot we can do to change it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fan base is very divided right now. Part of that's down to FSG, and I think part of that's just down to social media, because there is a fucking better place at the best of times. But you know, it is what it is, ain't it?
To me, guys, like before we end this, like to me, I don't give a shit about Qatari owners. I don't give a shit about Saudi Arabia owners. As long as there's an owner that's actually willing to invest in the team. That's all I'm asking for. I don't, you know what I mean?
Mate, the owners could be from
for a club like us.
The
thing is, Harley, for a club like us, we shouldn't be hoping. We should be already there. I mean, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and we're just accepting mediocrity like it's a norm, and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? Like me and Anton, like I said, we've been there since the 80s. Me and Anton been watching Liverpool since we was like kids. and we grew up.
Guys.
Yeah, we grew up on Liverpool being successful, mate. Like proper successful.
Let me just fix my hair.
and we never like thought that we'll be in these situations like on a regular basis. Like it's like we go up, we go down, we go up, we go. It's just like it's an acceptance, and we use Bill Shankly quotes like it's to our advantage and all that stuff. We shouldn't be doing that. Liverpool Football Club should always be successful. I mean, the minimum is like 1 trophy a season. That's what it should be. You know what I mean? But we don't even do that. You know, we don't even do that anymore.
We're in the time when money is key. And
exactly.
Money
is
right
key,
now.
brother.
Hang on, can I just ask?
Not key on off the pitch. Key on the pitch. We need squads, bro. It's as simple as. Don't get me wrong about. He's right about all them things. You're 100% right. I understand that.
Ryan is right.
We need to cut away from the umbilical cord. and look for a new parent, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying our success has been down to FSG, but to be fair, I want to talk you through something. 2019 Champions League, 1 trophy that year. 2020 Premier League, 1 trophy that year. 2021, yeah, we did miss out, but 2022 FA Cup, League Cup. 2023, we're winning the fucking Champions League. That averages out one trophy a season.
I'm hoping, mate. I'm ready for that, but you know. But I still need an investment. Though. Don't get me wrong.
On their knees,
oh yeah,
definitely. That's Liverpool. There's one club I can say that.
Right, anything to end that? I'll give you guys all. Go on, Ryan. Start with Ryan.
I was just going to ask a question because obviously you mentioned about that. You know, we are here to win trophies. Of course, we're a big football club, and you know, of course, we want to be as successful for a longer period as possible, and we don't want peaks and troughs, but that is part of sport. There's only one team that has achieved not going through peaks and troughs in this last 10 years, and they've just been hit with 100 sanctions from the Premier League.
You know they're going to beat that, right? You know they're going to beat that.
So if they beat that, then sound. But I asked the question to you: would you change Manchester City's badge for our badge?
Never.
Why?
Would you put
absolutely not?
Right. So if you don't want that, right? If you don't want that, which I'm sure we all agree with, we don't want.
Right, but I understand where you're coming from with that, bro. I understand 100%. But we're not saying get rid of the owners in complete like that. If they show a little bit of ambition, spend on the players, fuck the sell to buy business, and make us relevant to today's market, then we're gonna stay with them forever. But they're not showing that, bro. That's the whole point.
But that's what I'm saying is that's why they're looking for an investment. That's what they're looking for.
But how long can we wait?
Can I ask a question really quickly? In terms of financial, what would it take? And I'm not saying necessarily this would change your mind forever and say, oh my God, I want to stay forever. How much money would you want to see put into transfers and things for you to sit down and be like, I'm happy with that summer? Because for me, I'm probably looking at, I'd be more than happy with 150 million in one summer.
That's just one
player.
That's going to be one player.
That's just one player.
As in like 150 million net, or like just 150 million like full stop.
No,
Ryan.
I don't know, because I mean, like, say we don't sell anyone apart from like Nat Phillips or somebody of that caliber, and we get like, say,
haven't we sold enough already, guys?
110 million on Bellingham, and then they used the rest of the 40 million to buy another midfielder, or maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I'm asking you, what would be your level to be temporarily happy?
I did like a little breakdown on my Twitter dinner when I said, like, you know, potential incomings and how much they'd make, and then potential outgoings and how they'd make, and it equated to like roughly 230 million. I think that seems to be the ball figure that everyone seems to be mentioning, journalists, fans, that we're looking at around 200 to 250 million for a rebuild, as well as obviously including sales for like Kelleher, Nat Phillips, you know, Reece Williams, things like that. Yeah. But I think ultimately, I think to be happy, even to be content, to be fair, for me, you have to invest in that rebuild and invest sufficiently. I don't think you can get 2 midfielders this summer and then go, right, you just need to be happy with that, because ultimately a situation that they've created themselves by not showing a little bit more ambition and investment has now led to...
that would be... I'm saying if they get 2, say they get 2 in the summer, and then in the next 2 windows they bring in... What do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like 3 midfielders, if everyone who's on 12 months left now leaves, 3 midfielders is more than enough to sort us out, I think.
I think it depends. I think it depends on what was possible in January as well. You know, if there was a similar situation to January where we waited on Ibu Konate and then got Konate, then, you know, that sort of makes sense. Like, say for example, Vardiol, like, you know, they want Vardiol as the left-footed centre half. If that's the case, say for example you get to the summer and you sign 3 midfielders,
which we need.
Which obviously we need. And then let's say, for example, the budget or the selling club, whatever factor it is, says we're looking at more of a January move than a summer move. Then I think that makes sense, because regardless of which owners you've got, that just unfortunately is out of your hands. Like, there was an article out today that was saying that Liverpool are potentially looking at moving interest from Vardiol to cheaper alternatives.
Yeah.
But you have to pose. But you have to pose this question again, though: is that necessarily from a budget point of view, or is that from a sense of the club has done its research into a player and decided that your value your value isn't £105 million to us? Because ultimately, that budget aside or not, I would still want my club to make those correct moves, because if you don't, you have a potential Todd Bowley and Chelsea situation where you're spending ridiculous. At
the same time, the others are improving. Don't forget, Ryan.
Of course. And listen, and we're improving, because Darwin Núñez is starting to settle. Cody Gakpo's starting to show his form, so we're still improving as well. Let's not forget this.
But they are investing.
We're improving in drips
in-house.
In-house. Listen, we're not improving. We're not improving at the rate. Obviously we would want to.
Let me ask you a question. 1 second, Anton. Yeah. Go on, Anton.
Since the Champions League, who have we brought in?
I mean, the Premier League. You're talking about the Premier League.
Since we won the Champions League, who have we brought in?
Oh, as in like transfers? I don't know.
What's the list?
Thiago, Jota,
Núñez,
Gakpo,
Luis Diaz, Minamino, Konate.
Other than Thiago, other midfielders.
That's it. There's nothing.
Well, no, I know. Listen.
And the way
he's not wrong.
The hologram half a million.
With Gegenpress, that's why we're failing, because we ain't got the players who do the running no more.
Yeah,
we needed to invest straight after the Champions League, get players similar to the midfielders that we had.
But the thing I don't understand, Harley was making a few comments there, like we get like a player or 2 this summer and then we wait till next summer. But isn't the problem we're having because of we're waiting every single time? Like, instead of like getting them all at one. Because the only transfer we spent the money we got Oxlade, Salah, and I think a few other players. That's the time we actually challenged and for the Champions League we really won it because of because of a goalkeeper issue. I mean
we had a really big summer.
So this is the kind of summer we need again, Harley. That kind of summer.
I agree.
That's what we need. Not scattered.
We can't do that no more. You know why we can't do that?
Allison all at once, didn't we?
Yeah. Go on, Anton.
You know why we can't do that? Because we got cheaper players now. The foreign teams are thinking, listen, they just bought this guy for 84 million and they're going to add on some more money. Listen, especially if you're a Premier League team. If you're a standard team, like say Darwin was going to Porto, you know he would have been about 25, 26, 27 million. Yeah. But because he's going to Premier League club, that money
prices
goes
will inflate. Yeah.
Tenfold. Just like if you went to a standard area around here, let's say London, I'm living in London, right? I went downstairs and I went and got a Coke, it'd be 80p. If I went to West End, it's going to be £2. That's the truth. It's the truth.
That's the truth. I work in West End.
As soon as you're a Premier League club, That's why.
Especially being Liverpool as well.
We have to pay that money now. I'm sorry, we have to move forward from the FSG business. I'm sorry, because that sell to buy business. Who's gonna buy? Who's gonna buy Matip? Who's gonna buy Jones? Who's gonna buy Ox? Who's gonna buy?
I buy Curtis Jones.
Tell me.
He's a big advocate for him. Yeah.
Listen, Curtis Jones. If someone comes in for him, it's gonna be Ackland and Stanley.
Who are they?
He's poor.
Ackland and Stanley.
Who are they?
Exactly.
Nah.
Hang on. One second. Hassi says, I'll be there at Anfield tomorrow. What we saying, lad? Score prediction. We'll talk about that at the end of the game. No, sorry, at the end of the video. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on, Max. Any final words on this, obviously, FSG, before we go to the game?
I don't know if you're an ITKH or why you're so confident that they actually are going to be getting a 49% investment. Why would somebody invest so much money when there's no guarantee for a sale? What type of return on that investment are they going to get? I don't trust FSG. I'm grateful, but I agree that, maybe it is time to go. They've got us this far. We're on the ledge, like I said, of a new financial era. They're talking about bringing in the Super League. We're not going to be able to compete. You get washed away easily. And what they are guilty of, what they are very guilty of, in my opinion, and a lot of fans should agree, is that we wasted prime Salah. We wasted prime Van Dijk. We were one signing away from going for the quadruple. Just fucking another 100 million over the course of 1 or 2 seasons.
Try to win the title, yeah.
That is what they're guilty of. And like Fozzie said, how much longer are we going to just let them put the wool over our eyes? Optimistic. Oh, we're so grateful. You saved us. We're done with that, man.
Come summer, watch it. Come summer. I'm going to get my Vaseline ready. They're going to bum me again. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I'm almost done. H. We're not winning the Champions League. We are one injury. Listen. Hear me out. I sat here and listened to all of you this whole time. True. We are one injury away from being miles off Real Madrid. One injury to anybody in our current squad from being miles, and this is the round of 16. We should know, because we've seen that Real Madrid in a final can turn it up several levels. We're nowhere near. We'll be lucky to scrape by at Anfield. You go to Madrid and consider that we might lose another couple players because the whole squad is made out of glass. You got to consider this is facts.
They've got players missing too, though. You have to keep that in mind. Like Cruz,
and they're class. They've thrown Camavinga in left back.
Camavinga's probably going to be playing left back, mate, because
he's class. I don't care.
But they still got class to come in. We haven't got class to come in.
When was the last time
they've
we
been in poor
invested so
form,
much
and they're going
money
to start
in a young
Danny
player?
Ceballos. They're not the level that they were at as well, but both offer ridiculously high standards.
Mate, there wasn't. But the thing is, Harley, there wasn't even the level that we was at in the Champions League final. But they still beat us somehow.
Yeah, true.
But they went the same team.
Danny Ceballos
the same team now. They went
his numbers are doing well right now in midfield. He's doing well. When he's getting those cameo roles, he's doing well. He's doing his thing. He's in his country. He's in the club that he loves. You can see he can play ball, man. You can see he had something with him when he was playing at Arsenal. Maybe didn't do it. Maybe didn't like the league and that. But if you see him at Real Madrid, he's cutting it. He's cutting it. It's as simple as you might bring him up, but he's doing better than Qatar. He's doing better than Ox.
He's not doing better than Qatar from what I've seen, because I actually like Qatar, and that's a whole different subject.
Guys,
the same FIFA, man. The same FIFA.
Listen, everybody's got their own opinions at the end of the day. Listen, I enjoy all of you guys for doing it. So we're going to move on, obviously, to the Real Madrid game tomorrow. We'll start with Harley. How's this game going to go, bro?
I'm going to kick their asses, mate. But seriously, I think it'll be the atmosphere. We need the atmosphere there, don't we? We'll need the crowds to really get behind the players, and I've got no doubt that they will. Big European night, one of the biggest games of the season, all of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've got that. Them missing Cruz and Tchouameni is massive for us, because they're massively important to our Madrid play. And I know Ceballos isn't an awful backup. I know they do have some level of depth, but you're as a Liverpool fans, we're happy that they're missing. Benzema might not start, and he's slowly starting to come back into form. I've watched them a little bit this season. They're a lot more beatable than you think. Trust me, but they're not even the best team in their league at the minute.
But this is Real Madrid, though, Harley. This is Real Madrid, mate. You know what I mean? Liverpool, when it comes to the occasion against these kind of teams, like, we always, don't come through for some reason, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So we just like...
Did you see
we can't
Newcastle?
We can't...
When they had 11 men, we had 10.
We can't underestimate Real Madrid.
We always play crap when we have an extra man. No, and I don't know why that is. I feel like if it wasn't for the red card, this sounds really stupid, but if Pope doesn't get sent off, I reckon we keep that level up. Yeah. But we just can't play against 10 men for some reason. Well, we can, but not. I don't know.
There's something wrong. I think there's something wrong with the team with that one. Yeah, there's something wrong with that team. Ryan, what do you think of the game tomorrow, brother?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to miss it because I'm coaching, which is a bit of an annoying one. But but it's
all about the kids, bro. It's all about the kids, man.
No, at the end of the day, it's my team, and they've got a semi-final coming up on Sunday. They're the second only team in the club's entire history to make this competition semi-final. So obviously,
congratulations.
How old are they?
Under 17s.
Anton's the coach as well.
Six. Nice.
Yeah. So obviously, priorities lie elsewhere, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I'm sure you have your phone with you.
Oh yeah. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure you have your BT Sports on your phone.
I'll get the last half an hour in the car, so at least I'll get some. But yeah, no. Listen, how can you not be excited? Real Madrid are coming to Anfield on a European night. You can't. It's impossible to not get excited for it. The fans have got a bus arrival prepared as well. The lads have got the lads have put a thingy out. What's the word? Flag organisation out like they did for Everton. So as far as building atmosphere goes, it's going to be great. Yeah. I know there's a couple of pubs as well outside the ground that are doing free pints for fans. Just like I think it's an hour and a half before the bus arrives. So again, to try and obviously to try and
get them all drunk and then get them crazy and wild.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Hey, listen, it's tactics. I heard Klopp paid all the tabs, but no, you can't. Like I said, you can't not be excited. How the game goes, it's so hard to predict the Liverpool versus Real Madrid game, and ultimately, like Harley says, you've got a team in Real Madrid that aren't in the greatest of form. We're not in our greatest of form.
No.
It's a European night under Anfield. Nobody would have expected us to beat Juve in 2005. Nobody would have expected us to beat Chelsea over two legs. Nobody would have expected us to beat Barcelona in recent years.
We've been there before. We've been there before.
Exactly. And if there's any place, as Klopp said after the Barcelona game, if there's any place in world football that can achieve the unthinkable, it's Anfield on a European night.
Yeah, it's cliche, but there really is something about it.
No, it is. It is, and journalists and fans and people for years have tried to put a statement on why, and you just can't. There's just something within the ground.
Listen. The journalists have said their things. It's the ex-players, the non-believers that say, "Nah, it's only them. It's only Anfield." But when they've gone, they've like shit their pants. Henry's number one. Henry said when he went there, he felt like he couldn't play. He felt like within himself, like a shell.
Yeah.
Mourinho said it's the worst. It's the worst place to go. Remember he said when he said it in European Championships when England went to the final. He said if England can replicate Anfield, they'll win.
But I think England can't, can they?
But I think ultimately,
Sorry.
I think ultimately, though, as far as the actual game and the tie goes, I'm not writing us off away from home against them already, but I feel like a 2-goal margin is probably the minimum of what we need. I think that's probably the minimum of what we need.
I think we need more than that, bro.
To be feeling confident going over there.
3 goals.
Ryan, have you done a good
I'll come to everyone. Calm down, guys. I'll come to everyone. Calm down.
What'd you say, Anton?
2 goals, yeah?
Did you do the Jedi mind trick on me? I was thinking that 2-0. I swear on my life, Jedi mind trick. I thought I've been like, what? I was just about to say
I've got skills, mate, in plenty of things. Mate.
No, mate. Nice to
So
meet you.
Ryan,
The ladies know. The ladies know.
So Ryan, 2 goals, yeah. We're gonna do the predictions.
I feel like it needs to be a 2-goal margin. Personally, you know.
Anton,
2-0.
Max.
My score prediction or what we need to.
What we need. What?
We need a miracle. 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, Harley.
I think as long as we win the game, we have a very good chance of going through. That I genuinely believe that. But I think we're going to beat them. I think we're going to beat them. And we're going to score 2 past them. Whether we can keep clean sheets or not, I'm 50-50 on. But I think we're putting 2 past them.
I'm going for Darwin 2. Darwin 2. 2 goals for Darwin. Unpredictable guy.
Nunes and Salah for me. Nunes and Salah both to score.
Yeah. Nadir says we are done. FSG are parasites. Yeah. I'm going. Listen, I'm going to go 2-0. But I'm worried about the away leg. I'm really, really worried about at the Bernabeu.
Hopefully, Luis Diaz is back for it though.
Yeah,
that'd be
having Diaz back would be nice.
Listen, at least we started. Listen, we've got 2 clean sheets. If we continue with that's a confidence builder, isn't it? We'll just keep going, isn't it? But yeah, it's the end, people. So yeah, Ryan, where can they find?
Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. You can find me at For the Reds on Twitter, on YouTube. We have a Telegram as well and a Snapchat, and you'll find them on my Twitter. But obviously, again, thanks for watching. You know, it's going to be a crazy couple of days with the Real Madrid game and the FSG news and stuff like that. So be sure to subscribe to Foz. Be sure to subscribe to me for all the latest, and give the lads who are in here as well a follow. Some top Reds, to be fair, and they won't like that saying, especially Harley.
Yeah, looking up the John Henry top Reds and that and messing. Listen, been boss being on. Thank you if you watched it, and if you want to go and drop me a little follow on Twitter, me name's just there, has LFC 97. It's been up throughout the last hour, so you should be onto it. But yeah, nice one.
Yeah, fuck, man's a dog, isn't it? Good luck. Go the Reds, man. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Please, people, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show, and catch us on the next show or Instagram or wherever you can find us on, or Twitter, or wherever. It's all on there, should be on there. All the best, everyone.
Yes, people, it's over. I hope you enjoyed that. It's been the FSG show, and everybody has their own opinions at the end of the day. That's the most important thing on this channel. We don't discriminate, you know what I mean? So we're gonna be doing a preview show tomorrow about obviously the game around 12 o'clock. I hope I'll be up. So yeah, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, that is, obviously, and I'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you very much. Take care.